Next up, Alex Haig.
The Snowstorm by Ralph Waldo Emerson. Announced by all the trumpets of the sky, arrives the snow, and driving o'er the fields seems nowhere to alight. The whited air hides hills and woods, the river and the heaven, and veils the farmhouse at the garden's end. The sled and traveler stopped. The courier's feet delayed, all friends shut out. The housemates sit around the radiant fireplace, enclosed in a tumultuous privacy of storm. Come, see the north wind's masonry, out of an unseen quarry evermore. Furnished with tile, the fierce artificer curves his white bastions with projected roof round every windward stake, or tree, or door. Speeding, the myriad-handed, his wild work, so fanciful, so savage. Not cares he for number or proportion. Mockingly, on coop or kennel he hangs Parian wreaths. A swan-like form invests the hidden thorn, fills up the farmer's lane from wall to wall, maugre the farmer's sighs. And at the gate, a tapering turret overtops the work. And when his hours are numbered, and the world is all his own, retiring, as he were not, leaves when the sun appears, astonished art, to mimic in slow structures, stone by stone, built in an age, the mad wind's night work, the frolic architecture of the snow.
Next, Devon Langto Jackson.
Here, by Joshua Mahegan. Nothing has changed. They have a welcome sign. A hill with cows and a white house on top. A mall and grocery store where people shop. A diner where some people go to dine. It is the same, no matter where you go. In downtown, you will find no big surprises. Each fall, the dew point falls until it rises. White snow, green buds, green lawn, red leaves, white snow. This is all right. This is their hope. And yet, though, what you see is never what you get. It does feel somehow changed from what it was. Is it the people, houses, fields, the weather? Is it the streets? Is it these things together? Nothing here ever changes until it does.
And now, Shannon McDonald.
Cartoon Physics, Part 1, by Nick Flynn. Children under, say, 10 shouldn't know that the universe is ever expanding, inexorably pushing into the vacuum, galaxies swallowed by galaxies, whole solar systems collapsing. All of it acted out in silence. At 10, we are still learning the rules of cartoon animation, that if a man draws a door on a rock, only he can pass through it. Anyone else who tries will crash into the rock. 10-year-olds should stick with burning houses, car wrecks, ships going down, earthbound, tangible disasters, arenas where they can be heroes. You can run back into a burning house, sinking ships have lifeboats. The trucks will come with their ladders. If you jump, you will be saved. A child places her hand on the roof of a school bus and drives across a city of sand. She knows the exact spot it will skid, at which point the bridge will give, who will swim to safety and who will be pulled under by sharks. She will learn that if a man runs off the edge of a cliff, he will not fall until he notices his mistake.
And now, Edsel Sparrow.
Enough, by Suzanne Buffo. I am wearing dark glasses inside the house to match my dark mood. I have left all the sugar out of the pie. My rage is a kind of domestic rage. I learned it from my mother, who learned it from her mother before her, and so on. Surely the Greeks had a word for this. And now surely the Germans do. The more words a person knows to describe her private sufferings, the more distantly she can perceive them. I repeat the names of all the cities I have known, and watch an ant drag its crooked shadow home. What does it mean to love the life we've been given, to act well the part that's been cast for us? Wind, light, fire, time. A train whistles through the far hills. One day, I plan to be riding it.
Next up, Nathaniel Cobb.
Tomorrow, by Dennis O'Driscoll. 1. Tomorrow, I will start to be happy. The morning will light up like a celebratory cigar. Sunbeams sprawling on the lawn will set dew sparkling like a cut glass tumbler of champagne. Today will end the worst phase of my life. I will set my shapeless days behind me, fencing off the past as a golden rind of sand parts slipshod sea from solid land. It is tomorrow I want to look back on, not today. Tomorrow, I start to be happy. Today is almost yesterday. 2. Australia, how wise you are to get the day over and done with first out of the way. You have eaten the fruit of knowledge while we are dithering about which main course to choose. How liberated you must feel, how free from doubt. The rise and fall of stocks, today's closing prices, are revealed to you before our bidding has begun. Australia, you can gather in your accident statistics, like a harvest, while our roads still have hours to kill. When we are in the dark, you have sagely seen the light. 3. Cagily, presumptuously, I dare to write 2018. A date without character or tone. 2018. A year without interest rates or mean daily temperature. Its hit songs yet to be written. Its New Year babies yet to be induced. Its truces to be signed. Much too far off for prophecy, the one hazards a tentative guess. A so-so year, most likely. Vague in retrospect, fizzling out with the usual end-of-season sale. Everything slash. Their last chance to salvage something of its style.
And now, Brooke Hodgman.
"300 Goats" by Naomi Shiabnai. In icy fields. Is water flowing in the tank? Will they huddle together, warm bodies pressing? Is it the year of the goat or the sheep? Scholars debating Chinese zodiac, follower or leader? Oh, lead them to a warm corner, little ones towards bulkier bodies. Another frigid night swooping down. Aren't you worried about them? I asked my friend, who lives by herself on the ranch of goats, far from here near the town of Zona. She shrugs, not really. They know what to do. They're goats.
Next, Kara White.
I Sit and Sew by Alice Moore Dunbar Nelson. I sit and sew. A useless task it seems. My hands grown tired, my head weighed down with dreams. The panoply of war, the martial tread of men, grim-faced, stern eyes, gazing beyond the ken of lesser souls, whose eyes have not seen death, nor learned to hold their lives but as a breath. But I must sit and sew. I sit and sew, my heart aches with desire, that pageant terrible, that fiercely pouring fire on wasted fields. And writhing grotesque things once met, my soul in pity flings, appealing cries, yearning only to go there, on the holocaust of hell, on those fields of woe. But I must sit and sew. This little useless seam the idle patch, why dream I here neath my homely thatch, when there they lie in sodden mud and rain, pitifully calling me, the quick ones and the slain? You need me. Christ, it is no roseate dream that beckons me. as pretty futile seem it stifles me. God, must I sit and sew?
And we're going to move right into the second round. And starting the second round, once again, Sydney Ward.
Love Lives Beyond the Tomb by John Clare. Love lives beyond the tomb, the earth, which fades like dew. I love the fawn, the faithful and the true. Love lives in sleep, 'tis happiness of healthy dreams. Eve's dews may weep, but love delightful seems. 'Tis tea and flowers in the eve's pearly dew, on earth's green hours and in heaven's eternal blue. 'Tis heard in spring, when light and sunbeams warm and kind on angel's wing bring love and music to the wind. And where is voice, so young, so beautiful and sweet, as nature's choice, where spring and lovers meet? Love lives beyond the tomb, the earth, the flowers, and dew. I love the fawn, the faithful, young and true.
Next, Jacob Benware.
Life Cycle of Common Man by Howard Nemerov. Roughly figured, this man of moderate habits, this average consumer of the middle class, consumed in the course of his average lifespan just under 500,000 cigarettes, 4,000 fifths of gin, and about a quarter as much vermouth. He drank maybe 100,000 cups of coffee, and counting his parents' share, it cost something like $500,000 to put him through life. How many beasts died to provide him with meat, belt, and shoes cannot be certainly said. But anyway, it is in this way that a man travels through time, leaving behind him a lengthening trail of empty bottles and bones, broken shoes, frayed collars, and worn out or outgrown diapers and dinner jackets, silk ties, and slickers. Given the energy and security thus achieved, he did what? The usual things, of course, the eating, dreaming, drinking, and begetting. And he worked for the money, which was to pay for the eating, etc., which were necessary if he were to go on working for the money, etc. But chiefly he talked. As the bottles and bones accumulated behind him, the words proceeded steadily from the front of his face as he advanced into the silence and made it verbal. Who can tally the tale of his words? A lifetime would barely suffice for their repetition. If you merely printed all his commas, the result would be a very large volume. And the number of times he said, "Thank you," or "Very little sugar, please," would stagger the imagination. There were also witticisms, platitudes, and statements beginning, "It seems to me," or, as I always say, consider the courage in all that, and behold the man walking into deep silence, with the ectoplastic cartoon's balloon of speech proceeding steadily out of the front of his face, the words borne along in the breath which is his spirit, telling the numberless tale of his untold word, which makes the world his apple and forces him to eat.
Next up, Grace Olds.
Love Sonnets, number 17, by Pablo Neruda, translated by Mark Eisner. I don't love you as if you were a rose of salt, topaz, or arrow of carnations that propagate fire. I love you as one loves certain obscure things, secretly, between the shadow and the soul. I love you as the plant that doesn't bloom, but carries the light of those flowers, hidden within itself. And thanks to your love, the tight aroma that arose from within lives dimly in my body. I love you without knowing how or when or from where. I love you directly without problems or pride. I love you this way because I don't know any other way to love, except in this form in which I am not, nor are you. So close that your hand upon my chest is mine. So close that your eyes close with my dreams.
Next, Elizabeth Pietrus.
Love Song by Dorothy Parker. My own dear love, he is strong and bold, and he cares not what comes after. His words ring sweet as a chime of gold, and his eyes are lit with laughter. He is jubilant as a flag unfurled. Oh, girl, should not forget him. My own dear love, he is all my world, and I wish I'd never met him. My love, he's mad, and my love he's fleet, and a wild young wood thing bore him. The ways are fair to his roaming feet, and the skies are sunlit for him. As sharply sweet to my heart he seems as the fragrance of acacia. My own dear love, he is all my dreams, and I wish he were in Asia. My love runs by like a day in June, and he makes no friends of sorrows. He'll tread his galloping rigadoon in the pathways of the morrows. He'll live his days where the sunbeams start, nor could storm nor wind uproot him. My own dear love, he is all my heart, and I wish somebody'd shoot him.
Next, Alex Haig.
For Love by Robert Creeley, for Bobby. Yesterday, I wanted to speak of it. That sense above the others, to me important because all that I know derives from what it teaches me. Today, what is it that is finally so helpless, different, despairs of its own statement, wants to turn away, endlessly to turn away. If the moon did not. No, if you did not, I wouldn't either. But what would I not do? What prevention? What things so quickly stopped? That is love. Yesterday or tomorrow. Not now. Can I eat what you give me? I have not earned it. Must I think of everything as earned? Now love also becomes a reward so remote from me, I have only made it with my mind. Here is tedium, despair, a painful sense of isolation and whimsical, if pompous, self-regard. But that image is only of the mind's vague structure. Vague to me, because it is my own. Love. What do I think to say? I cannot say it. What have you become to ask? What have I made you into? Companion, good company, crossed legs with skirt, or soft body under the bones of the bed. Nothing says anything, but that which it wishes would come true, fears what else might happen in some other place, some other time, not this one. A voice in my place, an echo of that only in yours. Let me stumble into not the confession, but the obsession I begin with now. For you. Also, some time beyond place or place beyond time. No mind left to say anything at all. That face, gone now. Into the company of love, it all returns.
Next up, Devon Langto Jackson.
Piano by D.H. Lauren. Softly, in the dusk, there's a woman singing to me, taking me back down the vista of years till I see a child sitting under the piano, in the boom of the tinkling strings, impressing the poised feet of a mother who smiled as she sings. Despite myself, the insidious mastery of song betrays me back till the heart of me weeps to belong to the old Sunday evenings at home, with winter outside and hymns in the cozy parlor, the tinkling piano, our guide. So now it is vain for the singer to burst into clamor with the great black piano appassionato. The glamour of childish days is upon me. My manhood is cast down in the flood of remembrance. I weep like a child for the past.
Next up, Shannon McDonald.
Enough by Suzanne Buffum. I am wearing dark glasses inside the house to match my dark mood. I have left all the sugar out of the pie. My rage is a kind of domestic rage. I learned it from my mother, who learned it from her mother before her, and so on. Surely the Greeks have a word for this. Now, surely the Germans do. The more words a person knows to describe her private sufferings, the more distantly she can perceive them. I repeat the names of all the cities I've known and watch an ant drag its crooked shadow home. What does it mean to love the life we've been given? To act well the part that's been cast for us? Wind, light, fire, time, a train whistles through the far hills. One day, I plan to be riding it.
Next up, Edsel Sparrow.
I Have a Time Machine by Brenda Shaughnessy. But unfortunately, it can only travel into the future at a rate of 1 second per second, which seems slow to the physicist and to the grant committees and even to me. But I managed to get there, time after time, to the next moment and to the next. Thing is, I can't turn it off. I keep zipping ahead, well, not zipping. And if I try to get out of this time machine, open the latch, I'll fall into space, unconscious, then desiccated. And I'm pretty sure I'm afraid of that. So I stay inside. There's a window, though. It shows the past. It's like a television or fish tank, but it's never live. It's always over. The fish swim in backward circles. Sometimes it's like a rear view mirror, another chance to see what I'm leaving behind. And sometimes, like blackout, all that time wasted sleeping. Myself, age 8, whole head burnt with embarrassment at having lost a library book. Myself, lurking in a candled corner, expecting to be found charming. Me, holding a rose, though I want to put it down so I can smoke. Me, exploding at my mother, who explodes at me because the explosion of some dark star all the way back struck hard at mother's mother's mother. I turn away from the window, anticipating a blow. I thought I'd find myself an old woman by now, traveling so light in time, but I haven't gotten far at all. Strange not to be able to pick up the pace as I'd like. The past is so horribly fast.
Up next, Nathaniel Cobb.
The Vacuum by Howard Nemerov. The house is so quiet now. The vacuum sulks in the corner closet, its bag limp as a stopped lung, its mouth grinning into the floor. Perhaps, and my slovenly life, my dog-dead youth. I've lived this way long enough, but when my old woman died, her soul went into that vacuum cleaner. And I can't bear to see the bag swell like a belly, eating the dust and the woolen mice, and begin to howl, because there is old filth everywhere. She used to crawl in the corner and under the stairs. I know now that life is cheap as dirt. And still the hungry, angry heart holds on and howls, biting at air.
And now, Brooke Hodgman.
When I Have Fears That I May Cease to Be by John Keats. When I have fears that I may cease to be, before my pen has gleaned my teeming brain, before high-piled books, charactery, hold like rich garners the full ripened grain. When I behold upon the night-starred face huge cloudy symbols of a high romance, and think that I may never live to trace their shadows with the magic hand of chance. And when I feel, fair creature of an hour, that I may never look upon thee more, never have relish in the fairy power of unreflecting love, then, on the shore of the wide world, I stand alone and think till fame to nothingness do sink.
Next up, Kara White.
I am trying to break your heart like Kevin Young. I am hoping to hang your head on my wall in shame. The slightest taxidermy thrills me. Fish forever leaping on the living room wall, paperweights made from skulls of small animals. I want to wear your smile on my sleeve and break your heart like a horse or its leg. Weeks of being bucked off, then all at once, you're mine. Put me down. I want to call you thine, to tattoo mercy along my knuckles. I, assassin down the avenue, I hope to have you forgotten by noon, to know you by your knees, palsied by prayer. Loneliness is a science. Consider the taxidermist, tender hands trying to keep from losing skin, the bobcat grin of the living.
Okay, that is our 2 rounds, and we are going to take now a very brief... All right, now that you're all seated, I'd like to call you all up onto the stage. So all of our contestants up on the stage. Give yourself some space. Yes. Give them a round of applause. like to again thank Kylie for stepping in to be our prompter. Although I think this is the first time in the 10 years we've done this we haven't needed one, so it's a credit to everyone. I'd like to just recognize just a quick error on the program that was on Sydney's poem, so apologies to Sydney and John Clare. The title was Love Lives Beyond the Tomb instead of Love Lies, so we'll chalk that up to a nice message for Valentine's Day. And the time now has come to introduce, call out our 3 winners, third, second, and first place in that order. Our third and second place winners are receiving $25 gift certificates to the Eloquent page, and our first place winner will receive a $50 gift certificate and will go on to represent BFA at the state competition coming up next month, early next month. This is always the best and worst part because I think you all did excellent. But with that being said, our third place winner this evening is Jacob Benware. Our second place winner, Shannon McDonald. Our first place winner. Well, I was gonna, let's give them one more round of applause. Just for time. I was gonna wait, but. Our first place winner and BFA champion is Axel Sparrow. Thank you all again. Thank you all to our families and friends for coming out. Drive home safely and tune in for the state championships. Thank you.